Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Look at us, all festive.
I
Yes,
know.
it is
We're
the
in our
month of hearts. It's actually
month
heart
of
month
love.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heart awareness, or is it?
Heart I think it's heart health awareness. It's Black History Month. It's Valentine's Day.
Yes.
There's probably like 5,000 other things this month is, but yeah. Those are the
Yesterday
main
was like Fries Day.
Today's pizza
Oh,
No,
day.
Pizza Day. Yeah, Pizza Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Today's
Yeah.
Pizza Day.
a lot in this short month. I mean, this month I think we're lucky and we have an extra day, right?
Yes.
But usually this is the shortest month. And we're all wearing something to do with Valentine's Day.
Yes. My shirt is pink though, you can't really tell.
You have a heart though, a heart necklace.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh my
That's
God, have you guys seen The Vow? I've been watching that on repeat over and over and over and over. Well, that's repeat, right? Too
Mhm.
many times. Have you guys seen that? That
Yes.
wonderful love story?
I have
You have
not.
to watch it, Nathy. I'm not gonna spoil it. But okay, Betsy, should she watch it? Yes or no?
Yeah, I've watched it.
So I'm not gonna spoil it, Nathy. You should watch it and then we'll come
Okay.
back and we'll talk about it. But it's all about love, right? I think there's love within the family and also love for a partner.
Mhm.
So should we talk about what love is to us, maybe?
So is it all anything, everything, and all things love Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm big on like what is those rom-coms? I love love, and
Yes.
Yes.
that's, but I can watch those movies over and over, and I'm a hopeful romantic, as you
Mhm.
guys know. So yeah, I
Mhm.
can definitely watch those movies over and over again. I don't know. Nathy, watch it because I love the story behind it. I don't know if you guys have any other like movie that you love to watch.
Oh my God, I have a long list. Nathy, well,
Wait,
let me
which was like,
before I go down my long list. Nathy, do you
Mhm.
like rom-coms? Because when it comes to
Cool.
movies,
I do.
I just don't see you as like the mushy, like
Mhm.
lovey-dovey movie type person. So do you like rom-coms? Do you like
I do. I have a favorite one. It's The Proposal. It's
Oh,
hilarious. I find it funny because that's when you see Ryan Reynolds' true sarcasm come through.
mhm,
And
mhm.
I love that type of sarcasm. And Sandra Bullock being who she is in a romantic movie, it's really funny to me. So that one I've watched more than too many times. And whenever it's on TV, I try to watch it. And Camilo's always like, again? I'm like, I just, it's so funny.
do you love
That's
the
funny.
story behind the movie, like their love connection, or do you love just the characters that they play?
I think both. I think both. I mean, I do like Ryan Reynolds because he's a cutie. So I do watch a
Mhm.
lot of his, a lot of Deadpool and stuff like that. But you see that sarcasm in Deadpool as well as in that movie, The Proposal, is pretty much similar. Although
Mhm.
Deadpool is a little more graphic. But I really like his character and the way he presents himself in the movie and The Proposal. I feel like it's like his first time where he's like that. I
Mm.
could be wrong because I probably missed a couple of his movies prior to that, but I really like that movie and the love story too. It's really cute at the end. She does really fall in love with him, and this might
Mhm.
be a spoiler alert for anybody who's not seen The Proposal.
I
But
mean, it's old. Like, who
yeah,
hasn't? Oh,
yeah.
young people probably,
Well,
because it
she
is.
seen The Vow, and that's not a new movie.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Vow is a beautiful story, but
watch it. It's based on a true story, and I love things
Okay.
that
Mhm.
are based on a true story. So to know
Mhm.
that like this really happened, it's
Mhm.
just wonderful. It makes me. I mean, I believe in love, but even more
well,
deep.
you can give like a synopsis. You don't have to give
Right.
spoilers of the movie. So, do you want to talk about your synopsis of your movies?
I mean, I'm not great at that. That's why I'm not a teacher.
All
I
right.
can't
So for
explain
the
anything.
vow, for the vow, it's a love story of a husband who works really hard to get his wife to love him again. She suffers a very bad accident and forgets who he is. That's where I'll leave it. And it's that journey as to what happens post accident.
Okay.
Do you want to give your synopsis of The Proposal?
I don't think I'm the best person to give
Okay.
Go, Betsy.
So it's a boss. Sandra Bullock is the boss. Ryan Reynolds is the assistant, and
Yeah.
like he's essentially like her bitch,
Yeah.
literally. And she's Canadian and ends up about to be deported because she forgot to like fill out paperwork by a certain time. And so she proposes to him to be her husband because he's American. And it's a journey of, do they get married and does she get her papers? Is it real? And so on and so forth. So it's really fun and interesting to see that journey of them. He hates his boss, which I should have started. He hates her with a passion, and she's not a very nice person. So it's very cool to kind of see their relationship kind of go through all these levels. Yeah. Let's see. Now my turn. As you can see, that I was able to break down their stories. I'm all about rom-coms. I don't watch them on a regular. I have rom-com moments when I need to veg out or I need to like decompress. It is literally rom-com after rom-com. I have watched just about almost every single cheesy Christmas movie. I don't know all of them, but I can't pick. I will say off the top of my head, one of my favorite love stories is The Notebook. I mean,
Yes.
how do you not
I've never
cry?
seen it.
You have to watch it.
No, I know. It's on my list.
So
I promise
wait,
it's on my list.
if you watch The Vow
Yes.
and you've never seen The Notebook, girl, you don't know, like, you gotta watch it. All right, that's your homework.
Yes. My homework is to watch The Vow, and your homework this weekend is to watch The Notebook.
Well, The
Deal?
Vow is on Netflix. I don't know. I'm trying to pay for a movie.
I will gladly
you can
stream
find
it on my computer and we can Zoom and you can watch it.
The Notebook.
I think it's available. Let me. Can our producers look up what streaming service
As
is
The Notebook currently.
The Notebook? Okay, because I think it's readily available because when I watch my stuff, I tend to watch them on Hulu or HBO.
It's
But
on my list. I promise. It's on the list of many movies that I have yet to watch.
Oh, so for our audience, you guys don't know this. Billy was deprived of TV growing up, so she didn't watch a lot of movies.
Huh,
Tony
Tony felt my pain.
Tony was shocked. What? He's like, what? Tony's my cat, and he's just made an appearance today.
Oh, it's on Prime Video.
Perfect.
Okay, Billy, I'm gonna have to find a way to get it to you. But it is so I did not. So for Billy, she didn't get to watch a lot of TV. I didn't get to watch a lot of TV. Oh, it's also on Netflix. They just said. I didn't get to watch a lot of TV until I was at late teens. But once I got TV access, I mean, like I watched as much as I could because I was so behind. And now Billy's in her 30s trying to catch up with 30 years of TV that she has missed out on. Did you finally ever watch The Breakfast Club?
It's on the list.
Oh my God. We've been working on this
I
for
don't
years.
think I've watched that either, and if I have watched, I don't remember it. I don't think
Oy vey. Oy vey. Okay, that's a whole nother subject.
We'll
But I
watch
have
it together.
two love movies that aren't necessarily love stories of people. The focus isn't two people falling in love. It's more women finding love through themselves, for themselves and about themselves. And then eventually they do find love at the end. And that is Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts.
That's a great movie.
Under the Tuscan Sun. Any day I'm really sad or gloomy or just kind of need a good pick me up, I can watch Under the Tuscan Sun on rerun, and I love it. I read the book. It's one of my favorite love stories, and I say it's a love story because it isn't. People think love is meant to be from two people, like a partner, and love is not just a partnership type of love, like a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever new terms people are using, domestic partner and so on, whatever that is. But it, love is friendship, falling, your love for your family, love for yourself, love for the world, which we need a lot of right now.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think love is everything, right? We love our
Mm-hmm.
family, our friends, some of our friends, our four-legged kids, our two-legged
Mm-hmm.
kids. There's just different types of forms of love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that you
Well.
touched upon Eat, Pray, Love, because I mean, at the end, there is that love story between two people, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
like loving and finding yourself. I
Yourself,
always tell my
yeah.
clients, like, the most important relationship that you have is with yourself. Like, if you're
Yeah.
not well with yourself, you really can't be well with anyone else. That's just kind of how it works. So I tell my clients, like, we need to work on how are we treating ourselves? Like, what are we telling ourselves
Mm-hmm.
every day? What are we giving to ourselves? How are we treating ourselves? Is it kind? Like, so I think that's important in a relationship. And discovering what you like, what you don't like what you want to do with yourself. That's part of the
Mm-hmm.
relationship you have with yourself. And I love that Julia did that. Because I mean, whoever hasn't watched it, I mean, it took a lot for her to just drop things and go
Yeah.
on this adventure, and that's scary. That's really scary.
And it's also based on a true story. So the author is a memoir about her journey finding love. It gets a little complicated once you find out like an updated version to where her life is now. But it's funny, I never knew why I was drawn to this movie so much until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where I realized that I had this yearn to love me because I wasn't loving me. And I don't think many people grow up knowing, and I think it's a conversation that we have now. People are having this about self-love, you know, but if our parents don't know what self-love is or how to teach self-love, you can't expect it to be given to you or to taught to you. Um but it's such a beautiful thing. Like I speak to some of my friends that are and it's hard because I'm in a relationship for me to say this to them, but I wish I had a separation, and I wish that I would have known this prior to entering my first long-term relationship. I got to know me a lot better in the break that I had between my two big relationships. And it's very interesting once you get to like, it's scary, it's fun, it's exhilarating when you start to love you and figure out who you are. And I feel like I'm in a second phase of figuring out who I am now as a mom, as a woman, but most predominantly as a woman, like as just an independent woman that has her own identity. And so finding self-love to me is not my 2024 goal. It is just my goal in general and loving who I am, because you are the pillar of anything and everything around you. Any relationships, any type of job you will go into, any friendships you will have, um, anywhere you go in life. So if you can't figure out who you are and what you like and what you don't like, then you're going to obviously constantly feel like something's either missing or you are, in search of something because you have not fulfilled that within you. So I always give it people advice that are like, I know a few people that were like, oh, I can't wait to be in a relationship. I want to be in love. I'm like, well, do you love you first? And they're like, yeah, but it'll be better once I'm in a relationship. And I'm like, no, it's not, because then you're dependent on that person's love to fill you. And I say this in quotations, fill you with love. You have to love yourself first before you expect someone to give you love. It's not going to fill that emptiness or that void you have within yourself. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I believe so. I believe that you have to always put yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't love yourself and take care of yourself and all the self-love, all the self-care, then how are you going to take care of the person, your partner,
Mm-hmm.
or anyone around you? So I do agree.
Yeah.
How about you,
Yeah,
Belly
Betty?
thoughts?
I think at least for me, I don't think I really learned, and it's not so much learn, but allowed myself to love myself
Excuse me.
after I broke up with the person that I was with for 7 years. Because prior to
Mm,
being with him, I was always in a relationship, and it just happened that I was in a relationship. It wasn't that I was like, oh my God, because a lot of people are afraid of being alone. I don't think I felt like I was afraid of being alone. I think it just happened that I kind of met somebody else, and it's like, okay, let's see where this goes, you know? And even when it was pretty much coming to an end, that 7-year relationship. I don't think it was me feeling like scared of being alone. It was more of like, I need to get out. I need to get out, and things are going to be weird, but I need to get out of this relationship. Was it hard? Yes, it was hard. It was hard because I was with someone for 7 years, and the plans that I had and the ideas that I had, it was just like, well, now this is no more, and it took a lot of prayer, and it took a lot of just being with my loved ones to just be okay with not being with that person anymore. And it took not being with someone to be able to be with myself. And now, do I want to be with someone? Honestly, when I talk to a lot of my girlfriends who are not in a relationship, who are older, who, have been in relationships, who have had their ups and downs, who live and are independent, they're just like, do we want to put ourselves in that situation? Like, do I want to pick up after somebody? And do I like, so now I'm like, am I too comfortable being by myself? I mean, I'm open to love. I'm open to meeting the right person, but I'm also like, I like my own space now. I mean, if he comes into my life, by all means, I'm the hopeful romantic, but it took being in relationships and being in the wrong relationships and not being myself entirely to finally be where I'm like, well, I don't need to be with anybody. I like being with me, but maybe now I like being with me too much.
Well, I mean, you have to be proud of yourself for getting out of that 7-year relationship, because that alone showed that you loved yourself. You were like, I need to get out. That alone speaks volumes.
Oh Lord, it's hard. It was like a constant back and forth of broken promises, a lot of broken promises. And it was just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, do I not love myself enough to leave? Like, why am I still here? And back then, I don't think I thought about it that way. Back then, I was just so in love, right? I was in love with the idea of love. I was in love with the idea of what we could be. I don't think back then, I was like, I don't know, in my early 20s, I didn't think about like, I mean, I knew how I felt and I felt like shit, but I don't think that like, if I was to be in that relationship now, I'd be like, you gotta go. You gotta fucking go. Like, we're done. Because it was just like, wow, like if somebody loves you, there's that. Tony's like,
sorry, Tony's tail. I was trying to not react.
He wants my attention right now since we're talking about love. He wants me to love him right now. That's what he wants.
Mind you, he's a cat.
Well, that's his paw. That's his paw.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you that are not seeing us but listening, Tony's paw literally came into this
He's like,
camera screen and was like trying to tap his mama in the face, like, hello, lady, give me some attention.
It happens a lot, more than you can imagine.
That was too cute. And I was trying to like pretend it didn't happen, and then Billy reacted.
Stop. He was like, Tony is more of a dog than a cat. I think, in the sense of like he loves love. Like he's like, love me, smother me.
Yes, he is very affectionate. He's the most he's the only cat I like. I don't really like cats. Well, I like Mika too. Don't get me wrong, but Mika's the type of cat that's like you need distance.
Typical,
all right,
he's a typical cat. Yes,
she's a typical cat. Except she's not mean. And then Tony's more like, "Hi, how are you? How's it going? Oh my God, can I, rub my tail on your face a little bit and like hug you?" And I was just like, oh wait, cats don't do this.
He's a cutie.
But back to what you were saying, Billy, as far as where you would, pick up where you left off, which Tony interrupted.
I don't know.
Well, actually, I want to say something to the effect of what you said. You said you were in love with the idea of being like with what you thought things could be. And that is one of the biggest things that I spend my time talking to my kids, because my kids are 16 and 20. Both the two oldest are 20-year-olds. they, my oldest daughter, so my stepson is in a 2-year relationship. My oldest daughter ended a relationship. She has a friend now. And my youngest has a boyfriend. And one of the main things I try to like embed into their heads is like, listen, you have to love you. You cannot be codependent on the person. And the minute that you also start I start seeing that they're in love with a certain idea, like, oh, I'm just going to say he in this case because I'm a girl. Like, he could do this, and I believe he could be this way. Or if Jaden, if I started to hear Jaden say things to the effect, which he does not say, oh, she has the potential to do this, or these are the things I wish we could do, and I know we'll do it. I've already told them that those are thoughts, that you're in love with an idea that does not exist versus being in love with the person for who they are, not what they can potentially give you or be for you. And if you then say, well, I can't be with it without this person, I don't know who I am, that you have lost all sense of self identity, and you have now put your identity within that relationship. And that's a toxic habit. And it's more like you become codependent. And I try to talk to them as much as possible. So far, they're pretty good. They've, some of them have stumbled and had their own issues, but they've learned through it. I wasn't really taught that, but so I feel like, to me, I'm not saying that that's how you do it or that's the best way. That's how I, as a parent, am trying to kind of, get that into their mind so that they're kind of, these thoughts come up into your head, because you have those little voices that come up. But then there's stuff that you do for yourself. We sometimes fall in love with like what idea of our family should be, and I don't necessarily mean your direct family. It could be that, or your distant family. Well, I got to deal with them because I love them. I got to take this because, one day we'll all be okay, or this is just how it is. And that's not healthy. Once you can identify what you want and what you're okay with, then you got to start saying, these are the things I want in my life, and these are the things that I don't want in my life. But it's so important to start asking yourself. It's hard questions, but it is the most hardest thing you will ever do, but it will be the most rewarding thing you will ever do, with asking yourself and living with reality versus the potential of something that someone isn't giving you.
I also found it interesting that Billy said, I don't want to pick up after anybody, or, and I hope that that's not one of the reasons that, you may not want a partner right now, but for anyone, because you have a partnership with this other person, and it should be 50-50 sometimes. Sometimes you got to pick up the slack, which is fine, but it's a partnership. You have to work together to keep the household in one piece and help each other out in any way, chores outside of the house or whatever, because you guys are together. So
it shouldn't be like a burden,
right,
or an added job. That's not what a partnership is.
No, that was just me saying that because I love my space. I love coming to my space and not dealing with anybody. I'm a caretaker in my past relationships. Like, I don't mind cooking for you. I don't mind doing your laundry. Like, that's just me. That's just what I like to do, but in the sense of like, I like just having my own space. I like coming to my space and just being with me. And I guess it's because I'm always with people. But anyway, we're not thinking about finding love for me this year because I just have no time for it this year. Maybe next year. We'll come back to it in January of 2025.
I don't know what is going on with these kids today. I'm sorry.
Is that Mika?
Yes.
Yeah, that is Mika.
Mika's here too. It's like,
Mika's like, oh, I want some of this attention.
This love that we're talking about. Is it time for food? Do you love me? If you love me, you feed me.
Is it time for them to eat?
Almost. Yeah.
Oh.
They're getting you warmed up. Like, Mama, don't forget my food.
But they're both like staring at me like intently right now. Both of them. One on each side.
They may come and eat you if you don't feed them in any second now. If we see Nathy disappear in the screen, that means like, that's it. We're coming for Mom. She ain't feed us, so we gotta go.
I think if whoever is watching, I think they should want to see this. You there?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
And then
really?
we have the other one over here on the other side.
Oh, something
Going
happened.
out.
I think you. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow.
No.
Oh my God, your babies
Yo,
are so.
Tony was just grilling us. Like he's like, yo, my mom gotta go.
She needs to feed me. Oh my gosh, that's
He is
too
a
cute.
cutie.
That is too cute.
Hmm.
So in the concept of love, right? With not having a partner, having a partner, how do you celebrate in this month or do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Is that something you acknowledge it or not? Or
I think the last time I celebrated Valentine's was in high school. Right? Because, you're young and you don't know any better.
yeah.
But now as an adult, no, it's just a regular day. I think your love should be celebrated at any time, every day if possible.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be one specific day that you should show love to this significant other or friends or whoever it is. It should always be at any time when you feel it, not when you're
Mm-hmm.
obligated. 14, this is the day that you have to show the love.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. But what if it's a new relationship? What if I start dating someone, right? Like it's like
Mm-hmm.
fresh. Like 20 years in, I'm like, it doesn't matter, right? But like this
Right.
is my first Valentine's Day with this person.
I'm
I would like a
gonna
box
say
of chocolates. I would like for
so
the day
here
to be acknowledged because it's our first Valentine's Day.
I'm in between both of you in that. So I feel like here's the one thing. So being in I think 13 years, I've never been a Valentine's Day person. I don't like to go out on Valentine's Day. I don't like to go anywhere that has a crowd of people. Back in the day, clubs, yes. Now, I just don't like to deal with the mad dash and like the overpricing of stuff. So I'm okay not celebrating Valentine's Day in the sense that I got to go somewhere or have to be like overly like showered with stuff. I agree with Nathy. It should be like throughout the year, so on and so forth. But a small acknowledgement, like a card, a little candy, that's fine. And then the second thing to your comment about like, oh, in the beginning is okay and then 20 years later is not. No, if you started that habit, if that's how we started in our relationship, I expected 20 years.
Yeah.
Because just because we're 20 years in doesn't mean that you have to work less than what you did before. So
maybe by asking them, like initially asking them, do you celebrate Valentine's?
yeah.
Then moving on from there.
Like in the beginning, you get each other a box of chocolates, but like 20 years in, it's like, well, let's not get each other chocolates. Let's go on like a vacation instead of spending money on that.
Correct.
That's what I mean in like 20 years. I mean, in the beginning, to go out and not even go out, but I love my cards. I love me a card or a letter. Just get me a card. I will be so happy with a card.
Okay.
Card
So look.
with a scratch off.
No, just feed me. Just feed me. Give me a card and feed me. It doesn't, you can cook. You can take me out. Whatever.
Jay, it's funny. I'm not much of a writer, so it's hard for me to do cards, but Jay does really great cards. My mom is a very big card person. Not that she writes in them. She was very good at giving them, but Jay actually writes in them. So I have a bunch of cards that he's given me throughout the years, which I thought was very sweet. I think like if you express in the beginning what you like and what you can obviously build on it, but you can't go from like celebrating it and celebrating I use that term very, very loosely as far as what celebrating means to you. I don't need you to come in with 500 roses. A flower here and there is fine. I like flowers. Jason doesn't. But whatever it is that makes your partner feel special, I think that's great. But it shouldn't, like Nathy said, it shouldn't just be one day. It shouldn't. It should be something you do throughout. You should shower this person throughout, because in the beginning of the relationship, listen, we all know that we go above and beyond in the beginning of a relationship to impress this person, to look good for this person. That the problem is that over time you stop or you dwindle and you're like, oh, it's not important. That means that it's not important to impress the person that you're with. You still got to do that. You still got to. Now, is it as often? No, because if you have kids, then that's busy. If you have a job, that's even busier. So I think it's important to find small moments and small activities or small gestures to show people, their love, especially on this thing. I actually went to a Galentine's. So for those of you that don't know what a Galentine is, I went to one this past week, prior to Valentine's Day, and it's like a Valentine's Day party or celebration, but for gals. And then I saw that people were having Palentines, which is for pals, so both female and males, to celebrate Valentine's Day. So it isn't surrounding a couple. It's surrounding friendship. And I thought that was a really freaking cute activity and way to celebrate. It was my first time doing something girly like that, so that was really cute. All right, I just noticed that
I haven't seen that, but I've seen Galentines. I've gone out with the girls. But
I'm fixing
Palentines,
my
that
lipstick.
opens it up to other people, which is great because not everyone is in a relationship. And it's always just nice to have a reason to get together anyway.
Exactly.
Food and drink. Why not?
Yeah. So one last thing I will say about Valentine's Day is a couple things. I have now a series of either friends or friends of friends or like my daughter's friends' birthdays on Valentine's Day. And then my special little guy, Jasper, my four-legged baby, his birthday is on Valentine's Day. So now instead of me not caring about celebrating Valentine's Day or having a party, he's the only one that I'm like, okay, we got to get together. We got to do a cake for him because it's his birthday. So he'll be turning 2 this year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Too.
We should do a Galentine's Day.
We should.
Like a bunch of females. It was very nice to gather together. And not because of a relationship. I think it's like an emotional or sexual relationship you may have with someone. It was just nice to have I think it would be very nice to do Palentine's too. Because love is for everybody and it should be celebrated. I thought it was a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Let's do it.
So if you guys ever been to a Galentine's, let us know your thoughts and like how you celebrated or a Palentine's and what you think about it. Our listeners out there.
Or what else you do on that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a few places, my daughter told me this, they are doing, if you burn a picture of your ex or like you break something of your ex, they'll give you like a free margarita somewhere. So a couple places are doing like breakup stuff.
They also do, you name the roach?
The Met. I think it's at the Bronx Zoo. At the Bronx Zoo, yeah, I think you can name the roach
after an ex.
No way.
Wow.
See, look, there's ways to celebrate. We got to find the little joys in life one way or another. Life is already hard as it is. So if you can find the silver lining, by all means, please do. Let's name some roaches.
There's a few things. I think there's a rat thing too, if I'm not mistaken. I think you name a rat
serious?
like that. Yeah, something like that. Or yeah, I can't remember. Or is it a cat that they spayed and then you named them after it? Something.
Oh gosh.
No, I can
see like a little
roach. Much. I can see a roach because
yeah,
but not a cat. Cats are cute. Don't do that to the poor cat.
You spayed them and that's it. You cut their balls.
Oh, okay. Now I see where this is going.
That's crazy.
Cause them some pain.
Oh my god. What's the craziest way you've wanted to, like, have you ever had a crazy ex situation where you're like, I fucking hate that person, like you burned something? Did you ever do anything crazy like that? I don't think I ever did. I have to think. Billy, you?
Never burned it.
As much as I've done, like blocked them. That's it.
Yeah.
I had an ex who was stalking me, and at one point he called me like because I didn't answer. So then he started like call me and like leave these crazy messages. I mean, I was scared. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, I don't hate any of my exes. It's like, okay, this didn't work out. Good luck, and
wish you the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither have I. I don't think I've done anything crazy to like, I'm done with you. I gotta think about that. I don't think so. Pretty sure I have. I'm not a vengeful person. I'm like, peace out. See ya.
Yeah, I don't keep in contact. It's not like we're buddies. Some people can do that. Like I'm not buddies with any of my exes, but I think we're cordial.
I'm cordial with my daughter's father, so he's the father of my children.
Yeah,
I
you
have
have no
to.
choice.
I have no choice. So even when I don't like him, I deal with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Food for thought. All right. So what does love mean for you? How would you describe it?
Mushy, although Betsy doesn't think I'm mushy.
I will say I never saw you as a mushy person, and I have seen that you, like, the last couple times we've gone, actually in the last couple years, I've seen this, like, I feel like you and Camilo were always affectionate, but I've seen it on a more affectionate level that every time it's like, oh, it looks like you guys just started.
Yeah.
And it's really freaking cute and sometimes a little annoying, but that's just me because I'm not a mushy person.
I always wonder what people think, like, if they see us in the outside, and that, that's a perfect example, Betsy, because I'm like, I wonder if people think that we just started, and, to find out that we've been together for 15 years, you're like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
I
I love it though. I know I jokingly just said like it's like annoying, but it's a cute, and it's like, ah, I'm like, yeah. But it's because like I'm in a I saw this meme the other day and I should have sent it to Jason, and it said my wife acts like she's mushy but she's not, and it's more like the wife, I just want you, I want to know that I like you, and if I just like at night I don't like to cuddle, like if I just put my foot on you, that is my biggest level of affection that I could give you at night, at like aside from other stuff, but but like I'm not a person that it takes a lot for me to say I want to be like huggy dovey. It's just I don't know why, but it's Joe no say.
love me with your eyes, but don't touch me.
Unless I say it's okay. I'm like,
That's how you both feel. I mean, I love to be touched.
I mean, I have my moments.
I love to be the little spoon.
Yeah, I also like to be the little spoon for sure. I do like to be hugged, not at all times, and especially when it's hot. Who wants to hug? It's hot. No, that's like my temperature, like 70 degrees in my house. If you want to cuddle, we got to keep it 70.
Yeah,
that I can't do it. We're not gonna cuddle. We're not gonna hug because it's gross.
Yeah, no. After a while, I can't because I'm like, you're suffocating me.
Don't smother me.
Don't. I could. It's funny because when I go, I need a hug, and he's like, oh, yes, I'll give you a hug. But I'm not with my kids. I feel like I'm pretty affectionate. With Jasper, it's funny. They hate it because I'm a lot more affectionate to him than I am to them. And mind you, I didn't want a dog, so he gets a lot of affection from me. But I don't know. I'm not the most, and I used to be. I feel like I used to be with my friends. I'm very affectionate. Sioma used to hate that I was like that. That I was like, oh, very huggy dovey. And then I think over the years, I just kind of lost sensation. So like, fuck it. I don't know. I have to talk to my therapist about that. Duly noted.
How about you, Billy? We know you're affectionate.
Yeah, I am. I love all that. I love the forehead kisses, but don't give me too many. Like just give them at the right moment where they're really special.
Because they can read our minds.
Yeah, I know. That's the confusing part. They don't know that.
Read my mind. Not too many, just enough.
I like forehead kisses. I do have to say that one. I do like forehead kisses.
There's like
That's to me is not.
I don't know. There's like a different meaning with the forehead kisses. It's like coming from a different part of the quote unquote heart. I don't know. For me, it's just like I just melt with the forehead kisses. But if you give me too many, then it's not going to feel the same. So don't give me too many. But give me enough.
What's your range, Billy? Like for what's
the listeners know how many get on the.
How do you know? How will a person know when their partner has had enough? Is it the look? Is it a feel? Is it a number?
Well, I mean, like one forehead kiss is nice, right? Don't give me like 1, 2, 3, 4. No, just give me one, and then come back later and give me another forehead kiss. But not like 4 at once. Just like once now and one like 4 hours later.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
Yeah,
that's good.
But
Back
if
to back is too
full
much.
moon, give her 2, right?
She just took a deep breath. I don't know.
just one. Yeah, I like the holding hands. I love the cuddling. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with all of that. I love it. I love it.
I'm okay with
But
holding hands too. I'm good
yeah,
with that. Hands. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with
but
holding hands, but not for too long. See, I'm small and my hands are tiny. So to hold hands, you have to cross. I don't do the clapping, like the clasping,
oh,
because then I feel like I'm walking with a parent, right? So I like to interlace my fingers. And, you know, he's thick hands. After a while, my fingers look like this. And it's not comfortable. They're like spread like wide apart. And so I don't like to hold hands. I can do the pinky or like one finger for a while, but I can't do the whole hand. It's too much. Then I sweat. It's like,
Tell us how you really feel.
I just did. And it's so funny because these are things that I have over time, like I've kind of just I don't know. I feel like I become very claustrophobic. Like, okay, ya, dame un poquito espacio. And I can kind of see like my grandma's like a little bit like that. Like, okay, yeah, why are you hugging me so much? And it's like, oh shit, like I'm just trying to show you love. I don't know. I guess my mom is a pretty affectionate person. I don't know. Again, I got to talk to my therapist. There's some psychological thing with this probably that, but I am affectionate to a certain level. I just can't do too much of it. And it has to be something that I feel like it's either it's brought upon me, but just don't do it too much to me. Like, let me do it to you. Don't make me feel like I have
On
to
your
do it.
terms. You're like a cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
On my terms.
Yeah.
that's why I think even for me, it was easier to be affectionate with my dog because there was no like, I guess no expectations. Like sometimes my niece will hug me and I'm just like, what is this? I'm like, I'm hugging you back and I'm rubbing your back, but is there more that you want from me? Whereas my
Yeah.
dog, it would just be like, and then he'd go on his way. And it was like, so for me, it's kind of like, with my family, I'm not as affectionate as I should be.
Mm.
With the kids, I tell them I love them all the time. At least like they know that I love them all the time, every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I hug them. It's like with my
Mm-hmm.
parents, with my siblings, we kind of hug on a holiday. We hug, like after we do kind of like a prayer thing. We don't hug often. I definitely hug the kids more though. And Maxie used to get all my hugs. All the dogs, they get hugs
Mm-hmm.
and kisses all the time. Yeah.
Okay. So affection is part of our love language or not love language.
Yes.
My love language is acts of kindness. That's how I show a lot of love. How can I be there for you? How can you be here? Like it's what's it called? Acts of I just said it now. I'm forgetting. Acts of service. That's kind of my first initial love language. And then after that, it's affection, like physical. I don't like gifts. They make me uncomfortable. I hate like I'm not the person that um loves to be showered in gifts. It's sometimes a little weird to me. I've gotten used to it because Jason's very much a gift giver. But I was never a big gift person. Like getting gifts from people that I was involved with is not something I was accustomed to, if that makes sense.
I like gifts. Just bring me the receipt just in case I need to change. Camilo knows about that.
Camilo has
Yeah.
learned. Camilo knows. The
He
best
needs to
gift
keep
is the gift of a receipt.
I may want to change it.
Is there anything else about love that you ladies could think about or that come to your mind?
I did want to share like the story of my parents. So my parents had an arranged marriage, which is
Mm.
like weird because they're not like super old. My parents are in their mid 60s. Well, my mom's 67, my dad's 62. So, and my mom is one of, or she used to be because some passed away, like one of 14. And my dad is the oldest of like back then 12, I'm going to say. So none of their siblings had an arranged marriage. They did.
Oh.
So, I mean, my mom says that she never even like had a real conversation with my dad. They saw each other in passing, but like he was younger. So it was like, why am I going to talk to him, you know? But anyway, my dad's father and my mom's grandfather decided, let's do this. So my parents got married And, I think about, like, I feel so bad for my mom, because imagine having to sleep with someone that you don't feel a certain way for. That's kind of almost like rape, so to say. But
Mm.
anyway, I think that's the ugliest bit of the arranged marriage aspect, because they didn't know each other. Like, I mean, I've slept with people that I've cared for, that I knew, that I had a conversation at least. There was some kind of interaction and certain feelings there. But she didn't have any of that. He didn't have any of
Mm.
that. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like, this is what they said that for us to do, and this is what we did. Um and I think they cared for each other for a lot of years. For
Mm.
now they're hitting on 42 years of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hitting 42 years of marriage. And I don't think that they actually fell in love with each other up until about 10 years ago, which is crazy
Mm.
because they've been together 42 years. I think that they loved and they cared for each other. Like, they did things for
Mm-hmm.
each other, and they raised their children together, but I don't think that they really like loved each other up until about
Mm.
maybe 10 years ago. Maybe more. I keep saying like 10, but like when they discovered like fully like God, and just doing things together. Like, my dad would play his guitar, my mom would sing. Um so I don't know. Sometimes I think, like, we think about like arranged marriages and like how do they work, and do they
Mm-hmm.
work? I mean, 42 years later, like, I hear them laughing all the time and joking at each other, and I'm just like, ugh, that's yucky. But it's cute. It's so cute to see, because I'm just like, I figured 42 years ago, I don't think, and it makes me emotional to think that, like, they didn't have a choice, right? But
Yeah.
because of the choice that others made for them, like, we're here, I'm here because of that choice. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that 42 years later, they don't hate each other, that there's none of
Mm.
that, there's no
Animosity.
blame, there's no, like, they genuinely love each other, and they love the family that they created.
Mm.
Um, so to me, like, love is patient, love is kind, love is respect, love is all these things that I think are necessary. And sometimes people fall in love with the idea of like, of love, like, I find you attractive, but there's just so much more to it. And
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, I think people just are not invested in finding out, like, what is it really that I feel for you? Like, let's look beyond like the looks. Let's look about like, how can we build the future together? And if times
Mm-hmm.
are hard, how can we work together? I feel like people are giving up so easily on love
Yeah.
right now.
Mm.
It's so sad.
1000%. Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
So, but I
I
believe
think
in love.
I'll have a quick question for you. But it's like, so what have you noticed that you're saying they fell in love? Like, is it something in their mannerisms or something in their habits that have changed that you can say, oh, they're in love now compared to before? I'm just curious to see like how is it that you're seeing that they're in love?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard because I think I was like 18, so it's more than 10 years. Well, I don't know, do the math, where I started seeing
20.
the changes in them. Yeah, so 20. So prior to like 20 years, I don't know. I think I just noticed it more when they started to do the prayer things more, and started going together to like these prayer meetings and just spending more time together. I think before
Mm.
that, they didn't spend as much time together. My dad, he worked at a restaurant. My mom worked at a factory. So the little time that they had, it was just like, let's talk about the kids, and then we're going to bed. I think when they started spending more time together, they would laugh more. They would joke around more. Like, they started giving each other kisses. Well, maybe they did before, but I started noticing like they started giving each other more like goodbye kisses and hi
Mm.
kisses. Those little things. Yeah.
I also say, so here's to people who've been together a long time. I think it's, and you have children. There is in my experience, in having a 8-year and now a 13-year relationship, when you have children, with the exception of, in this case, being a couple that were arranged to be together. So I think there's already a hardship there. I don't know this person. I didn't get to know this person. And I'm assuming they got married very young. So, right, did they? Like teens, I'm assuming, Billy?
My mom was 20. Like, no,
Oh,
she
okay.
was 22.
So
Like
fairly young, that's
18.
young.
Yeah.
you're still trying to figure out who you are. So they grow up together. And so when you have a family young, when you are still trying to figure out who you are and you kind of grow up together, there's a lot of hardships there. There's a lot of things where I'm trying to figure out who I am, and then add in the children. I have noticed a lot of couples forget, especially the couples, and this is a sidestep on the couples who fell in love and actually were really, really in love and then have children, and then literally make their entire life about their children. And here's the core thing. You forget about yourself because everything's about the kids. You forget about your partner because everything's about the kids. And it's not taught or explained to many people that you have to first foremost love yourself. It isn't, society hasn't built it for us to be able to say it's okay for you to love yourself and go on a date by yourself. And it's okay for you to hire a babysitter if you can hire a babysitter, or try to make time for your partner, whether it be go get coffee, whether it go get groceries. And it is difficult for a lot of couples to do that. It's expensive. But making those small moments for you and your partner, the advice I give a lot of, because people ask me for advice on relationships, like, and I say the first thing is like, don't forget to date your partner. Like, once you have a baby, don't forget that the person that you created this beautiful life that you now are obsessed with, that you love, this child, came from the person that you used to love and was your number one priority at a point, and now you're forgetting them. And couples do forget themselves individually, and then they forget their partner. And I think some couples, as their kids get older, which would explain around the time frame that your parents kind of have that ability to get to know each other on a different levels. Their kids are older because you're the second to youngest, right, Billy? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So the kids are older. So you don't have that mad dash, and you have now this newfound time. And I say, quote unquote, your kids are older. So you can a lot of relationships either fail after the kids get to a certain, at this older age, because they realize, I don't freaking like you. I've had to deal with you all this time. Or you're like, oh shit, I have to work in getting to know you. We have a couple that we know as friends, and they're empty nesters. And she was like, I was so afraid that when our youngest left away to college, would he still like me, is what she told me. And that touched my heart in so many. She's like, I was afraid that we've known, because he met her with another child. So she had a child from a different relationship. And she was like, we've only known each other as parents, nothing else. So was he going to like me as, we're going to call her Jane? Is he going to like me as Jane, not the mother of his children? And that, to me, I just was like, wow, I didn't think about that because my kids are still home. It's so true. I'm now going to spend 90% of my time just with you. And I think for COVID, that did that for a lot of people. It's figuring out, do you still love your partner? Do you spend enough time with them that you like them on their own? And parents, when their kids get older, have that ability. And thankfully, your parents found a way back to each other. I don't know. Love has a very interesting way of bringing the best and the worst of us,
I wonder if Billy's way of seeing what love meant when she was 18 versus how she looks at love now, does it make a difference of, did your parents really loved each other when you were 18?
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering if that's...
Girl, I can't remember what I did yesterday. I don't know, but
really quick, sorry, Billy. Our definition of love also changes over time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because love for her may have meant something different when she was 18, and probably when she saw her parents back when she was 18, it looked different, obviously, than what she thinks what love is now and what she sees with her parents now. It's very interesting, but that is another conversation for another day. So, what is your take?
What were you going to say, Billy? Oh, I'm sorry. Billy was going to say something, and I interrupted her.
I forgot. Even a day goes by, and I forget. Plus, I shouldn't have had a drink.
It's okay. It's courage juice.
This is not helping. No, I had some leftover Bacardi from. I had put canela in the Bacardi for poquito, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder what this would taste like with orange juice." I'm not orange juice, apple juice. It's really good, but like my cheeks,
like apple cider.
I feel hot, but I'm gonna have more.
You didn't let us know. Oh my God, Tony's saying it's time to go. For those of you that are not watching, his paws are literally tapping his mom's face and hands, and he's literally pulling her towards like, let's go. So I think this is a great time for us to wrap up. I'd love to know from you all what you think from this podcast, your ways and your thoughts on love, different aspects of love, healthy ways to show love. Are you a person that's affectionate or not? Tony, she's going, Tony, I promise. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify as well. You can watch us in both places and email us. The email is in the YouTube channel, I think.
If you
we'll
want
get back to you
to
in
be
the
on Tony for an interview, let us know too.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode on Valentine's Day and love and anything and all things dealing with love. Have a great one. Until next time. Bye, guys.
I love you too.
Go feed her, Tony.